In this video, we uncover one of the most shocking and high-level drug operations ever discovered on British soil. Working quietly from terraced homes in Derby, this gang moved over £165 million worth of cocaine in just over a year, without drawing attention. No flashy cars, no social media stunts, just silent, methodical crime. Leading it all was Palip Mangar, a 45-year-old living in a peaceful cul-de-sac in Darley Abbey. From that quiet street, he controlled a global cocaine empire, importing massive shipments straight from Dubai. This wasn't street dealing, this was wholesale trafficking at an industrial level. Military precision, multiple safe houses, and nearly £500,000 in profits every single day. That's more cash than many high street banks handle. Everything was logged, digital spreadsheets, secret codes, even tokens. But behind their cold, calculated system was a flaw, a silent breach, and it was already unraveling everything. This is the story of how a Derby gang used encrypted phones, cold-blooded planning, and flawless logistics to flood Britain's streets with deadly Class A drugs, and how one mistake, just a single message, was all it took to tear it all apart. On the surface, Palip Mangar looked like no one special. Mid-40s, living in an ordinary terraced house in Derby. No showy cars, no designer clothes, no flashy posts online. Just a quiet man with no clear job and no visible wealth. But behind closed doors, he was masterminding one of the largest drug networks the East Midlands had ever seen. Mangar wasn't dealing grams. He was operating at scale, a fixer with deep links to Dubai, ordering bulk shipments of top-grade cocaine. His modest house in Darley Abbey became the central control room for a national cocaine pipeline. He had a full team. Tenants working as runners, drivers, cash counters, even his own accountant, logging every penny, every delivery, every debt. Everything ran with military precision. At its height, the gang was moving so much product, they were pulling in nearly £500,000 every single day. But Mangar stayed low, no flash, no noise, no bragging. He believed silence was his shield, his only mistake. Trusting that encrypted phone, that false sense of security, is what finally brought him down. You don't move £165 million worth of cocaine alone. Palip Mangar may have been in charge, but what he created was more than a gang. It was a well-oiled machine, a full-scale criminal supply chain. At the top sat Mangar. Beneath him, a trusted circle, each person with a critical role. Yazwan Kaigler was a transport guy. He arranged pickups, drop-offs, and cover stories. Whether a delivery had to land in Luton, Birmingham, or Coventry, Kaigler made sure it moved smoothly. Then there was Manraj Johal, the accountant from Luton. He didn't just handle cash, he managed full financial records, spreadsheets, ledgers, profit breakdowns. He kept the Dubai supplier updated on every sale and every penny earned. Back in Derby, Manvar Singh ran what they called the office. He counted the money, packed it, and logged it all using a token system. Every bundle had a number, like an internal barcode, so they knew exactly where it came from and who still owed what. Below this inner circle were the couriers, stash house operators, and local buyers. Names like Ranjit Sandhu, the Iqbal brothers, Narinder Palot, and Nimrat Baja caught red-handed with over £500,000 in a London flat. Their network stretched across Derby, Luton, Coventry, Nottingham, and further. No gang colours, no flashy names, just cold corporate structure. They didn't need violence, they had systems. And for more than a year, it worked perfectly. The drugs didn't come from back alley dealers. They came straight from Dubai. High purity, multi-kilo loads of cocaine, ordered directly from the source. Palip Mangar wasn't dealing through street-level connections in London. He was in touch with powerful suppliers in the Emirates, men who, in his own words, were making £1 million a week. These weren't small-time players, these were international exporters, capable of moving bulk shipments across borders without a trace. Exactly how the drugs got here remains unclear. Maybe air freight, maybe routed through Europe. But one thing's for sure, by the time those bricks landed on UK soil, every kilo was already sold, clean, untouched, ready for distribution. That's when Mangar's network took charge. The drugs passed through two major hubs, Derby and Luton. They called them offices, but really, they were high-functioning command centres. Product went in, profit came out. Couriers ran routes like clockwork, dropping cocaine to buyers, collecting cash in holdalls. The exchanges happened in car parks, taxis, and side streets. Buyers like Michael Kareem and Kelly Williamson were placing wholesale orders, kilos at a time, in places like Nottingham and Papelwick. This wasn't street-level dealing, it was regional restocking, like a dark version of logistics. And while the cocaine moved out, the money flowed back in, counted, labelled, and packed by the bundle. They weren't just selling drugs, they were fueling demand. And for 408 days straight, they kept the pipeline flowing without pause. This wasn't just drug money. This was money that could shake systems. And the gang knew exactly what they were dealing with. Every kilo of cocaine brought in tens of thousands of pounds. Every single day, the network was making nearly £400,000. But none of that cash touched a bank. It moved fast, hidden in holdalls, passed hand to hand by taxi drivers, couriers, even inside everyday minicabs. No armoured vans, no action movie chases, just quiet journeys across cities. Real drivers, like the Iqbal brothers, both cabbies, played a part. If they were ever stopped, the excuse was simple: just working. Cash was counted in flats and hidden lockups. In one London apartment, police walked in mid-count, £500,000 laid out in piles. Inside, they found Nimrat Bajia, just 26 years old, calmly handling hundreds of thousands like it was nothing. Some members couldn't resist the lifestyle. Michael Kareem was splashing money, renting 2 luxury flats, jetting off to Las Vegas, driving a different high-end car every few days. He went through 46 luxury rentals, Mercedes, BMWs, Range Rovers, over £250,000 blown on cars alone. Add the designer clothes, expensive watches and football trips, and you see the scale of it. But this wasn't just showing off, it was laundering. They lived clean-looking lives, quiet homes, normal routines, but everything was funded by dirty cash. And while their spending was loud, the machine behind it stayed silent. No receipts, no real names, just numbers. The gang thought they were safe. Every deal, every delivery, every update sent through encrypted phones. They trusted those devices like a lifeline. But behind the scenes, police forces across Europe had already broken in. Investigators cracked the so-called secure networks and began watching in real time. Photos, chats, drop-off plans, they saw everything. And Mangar's crew? They didn't hold back. No code words, no filters. Just plain talk, confident and careless. One of them even tracked the group's daily profits down to the last penny. Another mapped out cash pickups like it was a routine business. One message showed a dog in the corner of a photo. Officers later found that same dog in a raid. Another picture showed the inside of a house. Police matched it to a property in Derby. They didn't realize it, but every photo, every chat, every detail, they were building their own case file. And in the end, that's what brought them down. By spring 2020, the gang was still running at full speed. Drugs were being moved, cash was flowing freely, and encrypted phones were buzzing with orders. But quietly, behind closed doors, law enforcement had closed the net. It began with one hit, 7 kilos of cocaine seized in Derby. No sirens, no chaos, just a silent, successful grab that confirmed the intelligence was real. Then came the house raids. At Basharat Iqbal's home, officers opened a wardrobe and found 3 kilos of cocaine hidden inside. In another container, 20,000 pounds in neat bundles. His brother Benares Iqbal was also arrested. Both were cab drivers. Both had been quietly moving drugs and cash under everyone's nose. No gunfire, no shouting. This was clean, sharp, and surgical. Coordinated warrants, timed arrests, planned entry points. Police didn't just target the leader, they went for the entire operation. Mangar, Kajla, Johal, the couriers, the money men, the buyers, each one boxed in and taken down. And when the arrest came, officers didn't need to search for proof. It was already there. Messages, ledgers, photos, locations. All of it telling one story. This wasn't just a gang. It was a criminal empire, and it had just been shut down. Once the arrests were done, all eyes turned to the courtroom, and that's where the true scale of this criminal empire was finally exposed. The case was so massive, they had to break it into 4 separate trials. Dozens of defendants, thousands of pages of evidence, years of prison time waiting. But the prosecutors didn't need hidden cameras or undercover agents. They had something stronger, the gang's own words. Messages from encrypted phones, chats about deals, notes on cash pickups, spreadsheets, token codes, photos. It was black and white proof. The jury didn't have to wonder. Every role was clear. Palip Mangar, the boss, got 18 years and 3 months. His right-hand man for transport, Jaswant Kajla, received 15 years and 3 months. Their accountant, Manraj Johal, was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months. Manveer Singh, who ran the Derby Cash Hub, got 13 years. Then came the couriers and money handlers. Basharat Iqbal, the taxi driver, got 7 years and 9 months after drugs and cash were found in his home. His brother, Benares Iqbal, more focused on laundering, got 4 years and 9 months. Nimrat Baja, caught mid-count with over $500,000 in cash, received 7 years and 1 month. Some admitted guilt, others fought in court and lost. Photos shared between gang members seal their fate. One even showed Kareem's dog, matching it to a raid location. In total, 18 people were jailed, 167 years behind bars. This wasn't just a gang getting caught, it was a master plan, laid out, exposed and crushed step by step. For most gangs, the story ends with prison. But for this crew, the punishment didn't stop there. In early 2024, police were back in court, not to convict, but to take back the money. This time, it was about confiscation orders, a legal move to strip the gang of whatever profits they hadn't already spent, hidden or washed clean. Michael Kareem, who had splashed out on luxury apartments, sports cars, designer clothes and football trips, was ordered to pay back £377,000. But the investigators said he'd made over £1 million from the drug empire. He had rented 46 high-end vehicles, including models that cost more than most people make in a year. Then came Basharat Iqbal, the man with cocaine in his wardrobe and thousands in his tin box. He was told to repay £144,000, part of a total profit of £166,000. His brother, Banaras, who mostly worked as a courier, still had to return £169,000. For the police, this wasn't just about getting money back. It was a message. Crime doesn't just cost you your freedom. It takes everything: your lifestyle, your status, your future. And when it's all over, you're left with nothing. This wasn't just about millions lost or seized. Out of an estimated £165 million earned, only a small slice was ever recovered. The rest? Gone, spent, laundered, or vanished deep into the system. The gang's empire was torn down, but the money? It's still out there somewhere, maybe even waiting for them once they're out. This wasn't a flashy turf war. No drive-by shootings, no music videos, just cold, calculated business. Quiet, precise, and ruthless. Palip Mangar didn't lead with fear or flash. He ran his operation with spreadsheets and couriers. He built a £165 million drug pipeline from a terrorist house in Derby. And for over a year, it worked perfectly. But in the end, it wasn't greed or betrayal or a wild police chase that brought them down. It was the one thing they trusted the most: their phones. The gang is now locked away, their cars seized, homes raided, cash counted and boxed as evidence. But here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud they won for a time. They moved vast amounts of cocaine. They lived the high life. Some of that money, it's still out there, cleaned, hidden, unclaimed. And for every gang taken down, another steps up, newer, quieter, smarter. So what does this case really show? That even the most disciplined empire can crumble. That silence won't save you if you're typing your secrets. And in this game, no matter how much cash you make, it always ends the same. Not with gold chains or gangland fame, but alone, locked behind bars, with nothing left to count. For more real and raw crime stories, make sure to like this video and subscribe to UK Crime Stories. Until next time, stay alert and stay safe.